Flexx Luther, Morgan's nigga room. So much soul, about to bust out the room. All different flavors, way more than 32. Come with these shoes, you can't mess with these dudes. Nike Reeboks, about soccer knees. Golden Goose is on dude.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Soul Brother, hosted by yours truly, Flexx Luther. And today, guys, is my first ever solo episode, and probably my last, because I don't know how I'm going to be able to look into this camera, record this, and talk for like a 4 hours. So bear with me. But really what I want to do with this solo episode is more like a filler episode, because that's usually what me and Morgan's episodes will be about. When we did our episodes together, it will be like a filler episode, so we keep you guys updated, let you know what's going on, anything new we have coming up, just a recap of what's been going on, a recap of what happened last episode, if there's anything that really happened on social media that we want to talk about, and then our latest pickups. But as you can see, Morgan is not here with me, which we'll get into later. I'm going to try to keep the same layout as I always do, and that is what we start with what's on feet today. And the pair that I wore today, guys, once again, was my 4-screen 14s. We are set to see these again in 2026. I got these for an insane steal, under $200. They're not brand new, but as you can see, I mean, there's not much wear to them. Glad to finally have these in my collection, and I look to grab the pair that we and I look to grab the retro as well, because that's just how good this shoe is. That's just how good the 4-screen 14s is. Me personally, I'm a big fan of the retro 14. Always have been. I see that we're starting to see a lot of popularity for the retros after 13. We're seeing, the 17 getting a lot of love. There's talk about 16s and 15s, and we're starting to see some more 14s released. We got the UNC Blues that are also releasing, which is another pair that I gotta have in my collection. But yeah, I mean, I have multiple pairs of the retro 14 with the black toe being black toe, candy cane, and off the top of my head, black toe, candy cane, and 4-screen. Those are my top 3 right now. Yeah, but off the top of my head, those are my top 3 retro 14s. But I see them. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. What happened with Morgan? Where is Morgan? Is Morgan coming back? Well, I'm going to keep it short and simple for you guys. No. And don't get it twisted. You may see Morgan on the podcast on the next episode. Who knows? But as of right now, in the foreseeable future, this is now completely a solo podcast. I'll still be having my guest on. I'll still be having people sitting down, still having those conversations. I am not planning on doing a solo podcast. Shout out to Sock Jig that does this. I don't think he does it weekly, but he does do it. That is how most of his episodes are solo. Shout out to anybody that does this, because this is a lot harder than having someone to bounce off of. But yeah, man, just to go back into what I was talking about. Me and Morgan create something. Grateful that we created the Soul Brothers podcast. And I mean, to be honest, the Soul Brothers podcast is over. And that's kind of why I went with the rebranding and the rename is Soul Brother Podcast, because I can't duplicate what me and Morgan did. And honestly, I'm not really trying to. Shout out to the ones that continue to listen. Shout out to the ones that listen up to this point. Again, grateful for what me and Morgan created. It's all love. There's not going to be any bad mouthing or going in detail, and it's all love. We've had 2 guests on here that were friends at one point, and they're not on the best of terms now, and you would have to know them personally to know that. And I respect that. I respect that cold-heartedly. Even if there was any animosity between me and Morgan, I would go about this in a respectful way. Like you wouldn't even know it. It would still be how it is now. It's all love. Always will be. If he ever decides to hop back on the pod, he's more than welcome to come on and record an episode. But again, we were very vocal about this eventually, really pretty much Morgan phasing out and me kind of taking on the podcast as a whole. And that's pretty much how it is now. So podcast is not stopping. I'm not stopping the podcast because this is something that I like doing. This is something that I want to do. So it's more of it progressing, growing, evolving. I'm excited about that. Get behind the mic by myself is definitely not an easy feat. Like I said before, I would do a solo episode before an episode didn't drop by itself. So I'm gonna try to keep this under an hour, and I'm gonna try to keep it, keep myself reeled in because I know I like to go on rants and stuff. I say things that I ain't gonna say shouldn't be said, things that people feel a little uncomfortable when I say. So just talking about the pod moving forward. First and foremost, it is Black History Month. If you guys have been listening for a while, me and Morgan last year, we did what we call the Black Roundtable Conversation, where I hand selected Black creators. There was a all men conversation, and there was an all woman panel conversation. And we pretty much talked, pretty much about highlighting Black creatives in the space, what we're working on, and really mainly what were we doing to preserve and push the culture forward. And that's what I want to do. I think that's something that I want to continue to do. That's something that I want to do every Black History Month, is have that conversation. Because for me, it's Black History Month all year. And I just feel like that this month is more of like a preparation. What do you want to do? How are you going to better tell the story, better tell the stories, better preserve and push the culture forward? I mean, I feel like that's what February should be used for. Not really just celebrating Black History Month for that 1 month. It should be an all year thing. I'm always, pushing Black creatives on this space. So again, yeah, that's nothing new, and that's definitely something that I want to continue to do. Definitely this month we have those conversations planned. We'll have our all men panel. We'll have that conversation, and then we'll have an all women panel where we have that conversation. And then I got something big lined up. I do have something big lined up. Hasn't been confirmed just yet. So I'm not going to announce it. I'm hopefully, I can get a confirmation. I can get that put together and release it, this month. Definitely excited for you guys to see that. A big milestone for me in the pod, and what I'm trying to do, and definitely what I'm trying to do moving forward, as a solo pod. You just, keep your eyes open. There is, I do got a little something up my sleeve that I'm working on. Definitely excited for you guys to see. Really, all year, I have a real layout for the pod and how I want to go about this. So you're going to be seeing me doing different things, really giving y'all insight on what the rebrand of the pod is going to be like. If there is any more solo episodes, it'll probably be like this, just a filler episode, just a recap of what's going on. I might throw some sneaker news in there every now and then. That's one thing I feel like that I more than likely stay away from, simply because there's so many sneaker podcasts. There's so many podcasts that really focus on sneakers, and I want to separate myself from all the sneaker podcasts. Shout out to everybody. It's all love, but I want to separate myself from other sneaker podcasts because, again, let's be real. Nobody's listening to 30 sneaker podcasts on Friday or Saturday or Sunday. No matter how many days there is, nobody's gonna listen to all 30. So I gotta separate myself from everybody else and give people that unique listen And then if my opinion becomes unique enough, maybe then I'll report out on sneaker news. But honestly, that would require me doing some real journalism, and honestly, I'm not up for it. There's a lot that goes into the pod now, just with creating the clips, creating the cover arts, reaching out to people, creating the outline for the episode, and setting up these times and stuff like that, and getting these guests on here, and then editing the podcast. So researching the story, looking into the story, reaching out to the people, talking to them, getting response, and then putting it on paper, putting it in a script, putting it in the outline, or putting some notes. Yeah, that's definitely something more later on down the line that I would look into doing. But really, I would also like to use this time to get my thoughts off. I feel like recently I've been having some conversations about just how to move on social media, and how to really execute how I want to have these conversations, because most of the time, there's a lot of times I'm trying to have these real conversations and the context is not there, so the emotion behind what I'm saying can be perceived wrong. It can be seen as like, calling someone out, being angry or something of that nature. And it's really me just trying to have these productive conversations, have these conversations that we really honestly don't want to have. I feel like these real conversations, these conversations that we say we want to be productive and we want to see a change, change and growth is uncomfortable. I don't feel like anything that's changed or anything about growing is comfortable. So when you're having these conversations, when you're having real conversations, productive conversations, they may feel a little uncomfortable. They may seem a little awkward at that moment. Because this is usually something you're not talking about. This is something that we look past. Just I won't speak too much on it, but just for the ones that know, y'all know. There was a few things said on Twitter that I said to someone, and it was more of someone asked a question and I answered the question, and I got some feedback on it, and it really, honestly, it was really mixed. Some people were like, you said what you said. Then some people were like, you shouldn't have said it. But all in all, guys, I feel like if you're willing to post it publicly, you're willing to have that conversation publicly. Like, if you're going to post something like that, you're going to ask these questions and then you're not expecting an answer to it, then you're not really trying to have these conversations. Whether it is for clickbait, whether it's for forum engagement, whatever you want to call it, don't post it if you don't want to talk about it. And to me, your status doesn't matter to me. I mean, I feel like we're all people. So I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say as if you're a regular human being, because you are. No matter who you work for, or who you know, or who you connected to, that doesn't cross my mind. If I see you moving a certain way that doesn't align with me, or I want to say something, if I just want to speak and ask a question, or if I want to give an answer to a question, I'm going to give my honest opinion. I'm going to give a reality, real life answer. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, and I'm not going to and I'm not going to beat around the bush because you work here, or you designed this, or you wrote for this person, or you seated this person. Just like the conversation I had with the person, we was talking about, how I went about it and how I could have went about it differently. I'd rather die with my word than a free pair of shoes. And it's funny to me because I see people within sneakers, they're reposting everything that's going on within society right now. And I kind of chuckle because I'm like, there's no way you think I believe that you're fighting for social injustice when you're flipping and switching up your story or whatever you believe for a free pair of shoes and a cosign. Like, there's no way I can believe that. And I can't remember who episode I was having the same conversation about like posting things when it comes to Martin Luther King Day, when it comes to politics, when it comes to everything that's really going on in society today. I don't post those things because I deal with those in real life. A lot of these things people are talking about, a lot of these things that are being reposted, these are hit closer to home than you guys will ever know. I don't care for the repost. I don't care for you commenting on the video. It's more of like, what are you doing in reality? What are you doing outside? What are you actually doing when you come in contact with this? When these conversations are arising, what are you going to say? Because there's been multiple times on multiple occasions where I've said things or I brought things up and it's like hush hush. Nah, we don't want to talk about that. That's uncomfortable, or that's gonna make this person look bad. And it's like, okay, so do you want change, or do you want to just pretend and talk like you want change? And I feel like that's more of what it is. It's more of, you know, I tweeted something more pretty much along the lines of like, if your friends are involved, then it's kind of like I'm gonna look the other way. So people constantly talk about reselling this, reselling that, and then people will get shunned away for being resellers, and then you'll see someone get embraced while being a reseller. Or people talk about, oh, the industry does me wrong, the industry is not this, and the industry hypes up this person, the industry hypes this person up. And then you call somebody out in the industry and they're like, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't call people out in the industry. It's unprofessional. I'm like, so what are we doing? I feel like we're running around in circles when it comes to these conversations that need to be had within sneakers, and and conversation that really need to be had within society. Because at the end of the day, are you really willing to sit down and have those conversations? And that's what I really challenged. When I tweet these things out, these are not just like quick tweets. These are thought out. Like, I read over them, I go back, I change words. Like, I really want this to come across as something that can really spark a conversation. I don't want it to come as like something that I made up in 5 minutes. No, we see there's an issue within sneakers with this issue right here. Let's talk about it. Let's really lay it out there. And I don't care who's part of the issue, because it's not like I'm pointing a finger at that person. It's more of, all right, there's an issue here. You can't play favorites. You can't play favorites and then say, oh, we want to solve the issue. Oh, let's talk about it. But you're not going to talk about it depending on who's involved. If someone that you dislike, let's talk about it. Let's do this. Let's do that. But as soon as it's someone that you cool with, or someone that sent you a pair last week, it's everybody's different. Everybody perceives stuff different. But just last week you were mad because you got overlooked by a brand deal. Like, let's be honest here. And that's not going to change. That's not going to change moving forward with this podcast. It's still going to be real people, real conversations. It's not going to be, we're not going to talk about that because this. We're not going to talk about that because of that. I'm grateful for the brands that have seated me. I am humble. I'm grateful, humble that people have seen things in me to send me pairs and do things with me and invite me places, and invite me to friends and family only, releases and stuff like that. I'm grateful for those things, but I'm also grateful for the simple fact that I owe no one. I owe no one in this industry my word. It can still be my word. I don't have to worry about, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to hold my tongue. I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to call this person out because Nike might not send me a pair. Reebok might not send me a pair, or this person going to look me over for a brand deal. Like, that's not in the back of my mind. And I'm so glad, because there's so many people within this space that I know hold their tongue because they do this or they do that, or they work with this person, or they're cool with this person, or they're seated by this person. And I feel like once we get over that, once we move past that, we can really sit down and have these conversations and not take everything so personal. I feel like when I say things, people take things so personal. Even when I put a name on it, like I don't subtweet. Like I always tell people, like I use names. I'm okay with using names. It's not to call someone out. It's just to pinpoint things. It's to be more precise with what I'm saying. Like I don't want to subtweet because I don't want nobody to take, oh, he talking about me. Why have 4 or 5 people guessing about who you're talking about, what you're talking about? You can just directly, hey, this is what I'm talking about, and this is who I'm talking about. And you can say it in a respectful way, but I feel like people don't like feedback that's not positive. Most people are not able to take that feedback, and again, like I see people complaining and this should change, that should change, and I still say to this day, all the time I see, oh, this person here because they cool with this person, this person here because they're this color. Anybody that gets on social media, that interacts with social media, is in control of what happens. Yes, there's a such thing as an algorithm, but when you make it your business to repost something out of support, respect, whatever you're doing it, you're pushing that person. You're pushing that person to wherever they want to be. So these same people that you say lack this and lack that, shouldn't be here and that, it's all about the people that push them. There's people that have low follow accounts that have crazy engagement. There's people that have a ton of followers and have no engagement, and these people that get these deals and get these brand deals and the people that are like, oh, well, they don't deserve it, they don't do this, do that, they haven't been in the game long enough, whatever the case may be. I see these same people, because it shouldn't be like an envious thing, when a person gets that good look or gets that call to the stage, man, yeah, congratulate that person. Shout out to you. You worked hard. You did what you needed to do to get there. But what I hate to see is that same person talking about that person shouldn't be in that place, and it's fire emoji, fire emoji, fire emoji. And I'm just like, you were just talking about this person shouldn't be in that place, shouldn't be in that spot. So all perception is reality. When all you see is fire emoji, fire emoji, fire emojis, that shows, all right, this person has really locked in and tapped in with everybody and has true influence. Let's keep pushing this person. It's as simple as that, And a lot of people, I feel like a lot of people do get it and pretend like they don't get it, just again so they can stay in good graces with the next person that's got the clout, the person that's got the pull right now, the person that's working here, the person that has the rep at Nike. They want to keep good in with them. But if that's how we gonna move, all right, let's go ahead and shake hands on it. That's how we moving. So let's go ahead and shut up about all this other stuff, the unfairness and all that, because those things are going to stick around as long as we're not being honest with ourselves. Long as we're taking things personal and we're not being honest with ourselves, that's exactly what's going to keep happening. But that's enough about that. Let's just move on to the next talking point that I want to speak on, and that was, I recently posted a picture. J-Tip's latest Saucony releases, and what I did was I put all the ones that I've gotten, which is pretty much 11 out of 12, and I kind of mimicked the style of like a flower bouquet, and I took a picture of it. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I hated the picture. I was not happy with the picture. There was so much I feel like I could have improved on it. There's a better lighting and a few more edits that I could have done. I'm just like, I don't want to post it. But I took so much time to take that picture. I'm like, there's no way. I'm not gonna put that much time into taking that picture just not to post it. And I posted, and like, I think I'm a little over 500 likes now, and it's reached almost 20,000 people. And it's crazy to think like I was never going to post it. Like it was not going to see anything past my story. I feel like we always kind of use our story as like the recycling bin, like something that it would be nice to post, but it just doesn't meet the quality of like let me keep it on my profile. So I'll put it on my story, have people look at it, and just see what test the temperature, see what the reception's like. But I posted it, and then what I did is I went on to the Soul Brother Twitter account, and then I posted it there, and it got like I think it's like 24,000. And J Tips, shout out to J Tips, man. Always showing love and really being tapped in with his audience and his supporters and stuff. And he comments on it. He's like, like I gotta help you complete the entire pack. So he offered to send me over the Poison Ivy pair, which is the last one out of the four that just released. And I had just got the green and the peach pair. I already had a purple pair. So I was on to completing the pack, and then he offered to complete the pack. So no, shout out to J Chips for that. But I say that to say this, man. Post that content. You're gonna have ups and downs. There's gonna be setbacks. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you right now. Me doing this solo podcast episode right here, right now, is a setback for me. And that kind of falls into the cover art that I dropped for this episode. It's J. Cole's pretty much just like his debut album, The Come Up, right? He's finna drop the fall off, and I feel like that's what it is for me. This is, even though we're like 100 episodes in, this is a dawn of a new era. Even though this is episode 104, this is still the Soul Brother era of the podcast. So it's kind of like it's like a reset, like a restart. I feel like a lot of people fell in love with the banter that me and the chemistry that me and Morgan had. Like a lot of people listened for that. Like it was enjoyable to hear us, bounce off each other and do the back and forth and stuff like that. And you guys know, like if anyone's been listening to the pod, know like I always was very vocal about, hey, I feel like Morgan is the talent. Like he drives people to the podcast, and I just kind of really moderate, keep things in order, and then I just let him do his thing. And if the conversation dropped dead or anything else, I'm just in the background, So to really get in front of this, it's definitely a setback for me, but it's not enough to make me give up or quit. I determine that. I don't let the things that happen to me determine when it's time to hang up the gloves. But yeah, post that content. Keep going. If you're feeling unnoticed or you feel like the brands are not noticing you, stay consistent. Continue to do what you do. And most of all, like, yes, love the free stuff. I love having these conversations. But most of all, like, I just enjoy creating. I enjoy putting something together and having other people view it. I enjoy having conversations. I enjoy creating productive conversations. I enjoy sparking conversations, even if people don't agree with me. Like I enjoy that, because what is silence? What is someone being silent? What are we getting done with these conversations not being had, with things not being created? It all boils down to enjoying it and enjoying what you're doing. And keep at it. Consistency is the key, which is why I pushed for weekly episodes on here. Why I pushed to, why I was so proud of, out of everything that we did on this podcast, the thing I was most proud of is that we could consistently drop weekly episodes. Like we didn't miss an episode. I think all the way up to like episode 90, I believe. It was close to 100, and then that's when, like, life happens. We all have life outside of this, and stuff happens. And we couldn't keep up with those consistent episodes, but we still kept that consistent quality. But yeah, guys, shout out to the ones that, stayed and listened to this episode. I mean, I know it's not the usual, but like I said, it's just really a filler episode. Just kind of give you guys an update, let you guys know what's going on. I feel like I owe that to the ones that, take time out of their day, that's done hopped on this podcast, that continue to support this podcast, that continue to listen to this podcast. I would hope to have a better layout of how I want a solo episode to go. But for the most part, I covered the bases that I wanted to cover. I spoke about the things I wanted to speak about, so everybody know. Because I really didn't want to make an announcement or a tweet about, oh, this is what's happening moving forward, or this part is just not part of the podcast no more. Because I feel like the emotion or the mood behind the context behind what was being said, it would go completely over people's head, and it would become something that it's not, and that's exactly what I don't want this to be, is to become a conversation that is not to, you know, create some ill intention around what I'm saying or what I'm doing. So, I just quietly, slowly but surely just changed the name, changed the pictures and stuff like that, and then I was like, I'll drop the episode. Maybe I won't, maybe I won't say anything and just keep it moving. I want to officially announce the rebranding, officially let everybody know, what the podcast is gonna look like moving forward. Because I know there's a lot of people that listen to the podcast for Morgan. And I know people's gonna start asking questions, and like, all right, this is gonna be a reference episode. So if I ever do see someone comment like, what happened to blah blah, what happened to Morgan? This is like, listen to episode 103, 104. I don't know what episode it is. That's gonna be my reference point. But let's close it out. Still gonna do my showcase shoe because I actually want to show this pair off, because after patiently waiting, this is what I love about reaching back. This is what you have to call it, the hunt, the chase, whatever you want to call it. Like, it feels good to finally get a pair that you've been going after. I am not a fan of buying used suede shoes, especially with this blue, because like once it gets dirty, like you can't really tell what a decent pair of like a suede UNC blue shoe looks like. It just kind of, I just don't like the way it looks. I don't like the way this suede, this material and this color look used. So like, I was determined to get this at a decent price, but also get it, dead stock, brand new. I just got these last week, and I only paid $100 for them. That's the beauty of the sneaker game right now. That's the beauty of sneaker collecting, sneaker shopping right now. You can go and get, reach back and get the pair that you wanted for a decent price. There's so many releases that we're seeing right now that honestly you can't keep up, and a lot of people are sitting on capital or sitting on pairs that they're not wearing, so they're trying to get rid of them to really make room for the ones that's releasing this year, or reaching back to last year, or reaching back 3 years ago, whatever the case may be. But you're able to get the pair that you've been chasing since it released at, $120 on the retail. I love the UNC colorway, from North Carolina myself. So I have the UNC up tempos. I have the UNC 9 lows. I have the UNC 3s, 1s. I do want to get the UNC toe 1s and the UNC 6s. And then I have the UNC black 6s, the original UNCs that I like to call them. Like, I want to showcase this shoe because this is a shoe I've been chasing for a while, and I finally got it. That's the showcase of the shoe that's my showcase shoe right there, UNC blue Retro 5. Speaking of great releases, I did want to touch on the Fragment Union Air Jordan 1 release. We had the commercial drop earlier this week. Excited about that pair, excited about the marketing, and about, well, the thing about getting all these releases and watching all these media rollouts, and watching all these great pairs being released, like, I'm okay with taking an L. I do want this pair, but I'm actually okay with taking an L because I'm enjoying just the rollout of it. I'm enjoying, the on-feet look, the on-foot looks, because I know there's going to be some great people that's going to take some great pictures of these when they do release. The ad campaigns, with the Salesman infrared 6s. I don't even want that pair, but I love what they're doing with it. I love the media that they're doing with it. So I mean, there's some great things happening in sneakers. I noticed I got to do more research with it, but I was seeing something about Nike creating like a digital fingerprint, being able to pretty much like somehow scan your shoes, and they keep like a database and kind of help with authenticating them. And I feel like it's like a blessing and a curse at the same time, because it's just like, imagine people reselling pairs that have already been scanned into a database under your sneakers app. So like when you go to scan it, it's probably gonna authenticate it, but it's also gonna say like it belongs to this person, or maybe it may say like you're not the owner of this shoe, and then you gotta register the shoe and enter the serial number, or I don't know. Like I feel like it's definitely a big deal. And we've seen it with the NFTs and other technology. Like this is not nothing new. There's always been ways to track and scan, and you got that on your just on your labeling on your shoebox. There's stuff behind it and made into it that you can scan. They just kind of, I feel like they're progressing with this. This could eliminate reselling, or it could cause a whole nother to evolve into a whole nother monster, honestly, because people won't be so afraid to buy resale. Because I feel like a lot of people, there's certain people, because those are for a while. I didn't buy resale. I've been collecting since 2009, and I did not buy resale until 2020, because I was so afraid of getting a fake. Then I buy resale 2020, and then like reps, and that becomes a trend, and it goes crazy. And I'm just like, the one time I decided to pay resale, reps become this thing, and people start going on interviews and podcasts. Oh yeah, I was selling 300 pairs of this to StockX, and they were fake. I had bills to pay. Eliminating the question of are these real or fake, or getting a certain answer to are these real or fake is huge. That's a huge thing for sneakers, and for people that buy, and people like me that's just reaching back, because I changed that because I don't think it'll really apply to the pair that you reach back to, because the technology would have to be in those shoes, unless they already have something there that can be activated later on, which I highly doubt. But moving forward, let's say they will really roll it out or really implement it in 2026, reaching back to 2026 and 2027, 2028. You don't really have that question of like, are these real? Are these fake? For sure it's registered to somebody. But yeah, the opportunities and the avenues for that is endless. Just imagine Sneakers app creating some type of community through this, like connecting, creating sneaker profiles within the sneaker app. So like, oh, this pair belonged to this person, this pair belonged to that person. Kind of like what Trade Block and Unbox app were doing, like, creating these communities, and where you can show off your collection and tell what you wore today and how many pairs you have, and trade them within the app and sell them within the app. Nike's coming for that market. They're coming for their share. I think we all have come to realize that reselling is not going anywhere. It plays a major part. It may not have been part of sneaker culture years ago or when it first started, but love it or hate it, reselling is part of what we call sneaker culture. I really want to say it's part of it, but it's in there somewhere, somewhere around there at the bottom of the top, on the side, left, right, I don't know. But somewhere in there, reselling is part of sneaker culture. There's so many known people with influence, people with following, people with crazy pages, that has your favorite creators on there, your favorite designers, your favorite brands collaborating with these resellers. So imagine just removing all those resellers from what we currently have. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of, sneaker cons no longer there. All these conventions and stuff, they really wouldn't exist if you kind of dumb down the reselling or remove the resellers from it. And there's a lot of things to look forward to as far as sneakers this year. A lot of things to look forward to as far as the Soul Brother podcast. Again, appreciate you guys listening and taking time out your day to listen to the Soul Brother podcast. Excited to see what the future holds. Definitely excited to see what the future holds. Definitely, I got a couple more things I want to activate. If you guys missed it, I did send out customized pairs to some customized pairs that I sent out to some of the best performing guests. So if you guys are wondering who got seeded pairs and why they got seeded pairs, it's because of purely based off of performance analytics and influence of their episode. Like Kari has 2 episodes. Well, he has multiple episodes with us, but in our top 5 best performing episodes, Kari has 2 of them. So I sent him a pair. Self, again, one of the best performing episodes. 80 Sneaks, one of the best performing cover art. Like, it got the most reach with the cover art. Dre the Shoe Guy, our first viral clips. So like, and then Key would have been one of our most impactful episodes, like us getting the most follows off of it. And I plan on doing that again. I plan on doing it for the previous year. I feel like we're always, when it comes to podcasting, you're reaching out, you want someone's attention, you want someone's time, and I know time is valuable. So to really, instead of begging and asking for free shoes, I give out free shoes. This is really just me, paying, I feel like really paying my dues and truly showing my appreciation to these people when they come and hop on this podcast, because this podcast wouldn't be a podcast without them. So that's me showing love to them. And also, at the end of the day, I want a successful podcast, and it helps with marketing. These are well-known people that have crazy engagement, crazy reach. It works better in my favor because their episodes perform well, but they also, have crazy reach. They're well-known people within the sneaker space. Get our names out there, give us exposure. So much love to that. Much love to them. Shout out to, all the people that got their pairs. Still got a couple of things that I plan on activating later on this year. So, bear with me. Be patient. If I ask for your information, be on the lookout. Gonna be sending stuff your way. But I'll definitely reach out again, let you know, like, I sent this, so you'll be aware. But yeah, guys, that's all I got. We almost made it an hour, close to an hour. If we do have another solo episode, I'll be sure to have a better layout. But again, like, I didn't really put too much thought into this episode. It's just really just to hop on here, get you guys updated, let you know what's going on with the podcast, what we're doing, what I'm doing moving forward. Yeah, that's it, guys. But as I always say, love, peace, and sneakers.
So brothers, yeah. So brothers, retro 7, retro 3s, metallic 7, retro 11, sitting on freeze. They got so